And you are going on the record as being two of Josh's victims. Mm-hmm. Does it feel strange to use that word?
You know, I think we didn't choose to come out and tell our story. This wouldn't have been our first choice, but now that this story has been brought about, we really feel like as we've been seeing these headlines, as we've been seeing things that people are saying about our family, we feel like as the victims, we have to come out and speak. This is something like we chose to do. Nobody asked us to do this. Jess and I were talking, we're like, oh my goodness, most of the stuff out there is lies. It's not truth. Mm-hmm. And so for truth's sake, we want to come out and set the record straight.
But sitting here today was when I said, you know, victims, you furrowed your brow a little. I mean, do you feel like the victim of a molestation?
Well, I think in the case of what Josh did, it was very wrong. I'm not going to justify anything that he did or say it was okay, not permissible, but I do want to speak up in his defense against people who are calling him a child molester or a pedophile or a rapist, and people are saying. And I'm like, that is so overboard and a lie, really. I mean, people will get mad at me for saying that, but I'm like, I can say this, you know, I was one of the victims, so I can speak out and I can say this and set the record straight here. Like in Josh's case, he was a boy, young boy in puberty, and a little too curious about girls, and that got him into some trouble, and he made some bad choices, but really the extent of it was mild, inappropriate touching on fully clothed victims. Most of it while girls were sleeping.
We didn't even know about it until he went and confessed it to my parents, and
Neither one of
they
you
shared
knew.
it with us. No.
None of the victims were aware of what happened until Joshua confessed, and then
it wasn't like we were keeping a secret, afraid or something. It was we didn't know until Josh explained to my parents what his thought process was.
When you found out this was going to be on the cover of In Touch Weekly, what was your reaction?
I'll tell you, we were pretty furious.
I called
we
my
were
husband
not happy.
and I was in tears. I couldn't believe what was going on. I called him. It was whenever I heard the police report had been released that I said, what? Like, they don't have a right to do this. This isn't, we're victims. They can't do this to us.
We see the tears. What was it? I mean, what was it about the disclosure that was so painful?
Well, I see it as a re-victimization that's even 1,000 times worse.
Why?
Because this is something that was already dealt with. We've already forgiven Josh. We've already moved on.
Do you think it has something to do with who you are, who the Duggars are, what your family stands for?
I definitely feel like people that already don't really like our family would be the ones to really spread this around and maliciously do so, slanderously do so. Definitely, they didn't have the victims in mind. People that are like, oh, I feel for the girls. I'm like, no, you really don't, because if you did, you would respect our wish for things to remain private. And that's just, I mean, that's been a violation of trust.